friends, and welcome to Miss Debbie's STEM class. Coco and I are so happy you're here for STEM class number 5. I can't believe how fast it's going by, but I'm really excited about today's STEM lesson because it's about bears and other animals. We're really excited about today's STEM lesson because we get to learn about animals. Right, Coco? Yes, Coco loves all different kinds of animals, and so does Miss Debbie. I'm sure you have some favorite types of animals that you could share too. Yes, we all love those type of animals. And we are talking about animals because winter is coming. What happens when winter comes? That's right, it could snow. Yes, and it gets very cold outside. It gets cold outside, doesn't it, Coco? Coco and Miss Debbie love the cold weather. Not many people do, but I love getting outside and enjoying the cold weather, or even staying in by the fire and having a cup of hot cocoa and watching it snow outside. It's my favorite time of year, and Coco loves that too. But today is especially important because we are going to be learning about not only what we do to get ready for the winter, but what other animals all around the world do when wintertime comes. We have ways that we could prepare for the winter. Can you think of some of those things that we could do when winter comes? It gets really cold outside, that's right. So what can we do to keep warm? Yeah, I bet they're going to say that too, Coco. Yes, that's right. You could put on a hat. You were right. Some mittens. We knew you'd have some great answers. A coat. That's right, a coat. What about when you go outside in the snow and you don't want your legs to get wet or your legs to get cold? That's right, some snow pants. And boots, you're right, boots too. All of those things help to keep us warm when it gets cold outside. And when it gets super cold outside, we can go inside, right? We can cuddle up with our favorite stuffed animal or our pet, put a blanket on us, sit by the fire, maybe have something hot to drink, maybe some hot cocoa. Yes, all those ideas are great. So we know what to do when wintertime starts to come. We need to keep warm. Now there are animals outside that don't have a house to live in. They can't run inside and keep warm, so they have to come up with some pretty fancy ideas on how they can get ready for wintertime. Are we ready for our lesson to learn about winter animals? Are you ready, Coco? Yes. Coco has brought one of his favorite books for us to enjoy today, and it is perfect because it tells us about lots of different animals that get ready for the winter. And they do one special scientific thing to help them. Do you know what it might be called? Do you know, Coco? Coco knows. It's called hibernate. Certain animals hibernate during the winter because it's so cold outside that they just can't survive in the cold. And they have nowhere to find food. There's so many different reasons for animals to hibernate. So you're ready to get started and learn about hibernation? Okay, here we go. Let's start with our book. It is called Time to Sleep. And this book is written by Denise Fleming. Here goes. Time to Sleep by Denise Fleming. Who's that sleeping on the front cover? Do you see the nose and the claws and the ears? Looks like he's brown. See his sleeping eyes? That's right, it's a bear. Sleeping. I wonder if that has something to do with hibernation. Do you think it does? I think you're right. Let's get started. Bear sniffed once. She sniffed twice. Can you sniff? I smell winter in the air, said Bear. It is time to crawl into my cave and sleep. We were right. But first I must tell Snail. Oh, so that must be another animal that hibernates in the winter. That means they sleep for the winter. Snail was slowly slithering up one leaf and down another. Snail, rumbled Bear. You see Snail right down here? Winter is in the air. It's time to seal your shell and sleep. Snail stopped slithering. You're right, Bear, said Snail. This morning there was frost on the grass. It is time to sleep. But first I must tell Skunk. There goes Snail. Now Snail is going to let Skunk know. Skunk is another hibernating animal. Scritch, scratch, scratch. Skunk was busy digging grubs. Skunk, winter is on its way, said Snail. It's time for you to curl up in your den and sleep. So Skunk must sleep in a den, just like Bear does. There's Skunk. Look at he's getting all the bugs so he can have something to eat. Skunk looked up. The leaves on the trees were yellow and red. All right, said Skunk, I will sleep, but first I must tell Turtle. Turtle is another animal. This is what happens when winter is coming. All of the colorful leaves are falling off of the trees. Turtle was off on a ramble. Stop, Turtle, cried Skunk. I have news. Winter is on its way. There's Turtle. Turtle looks surprised. Turtle blinked. Winter? Yes, winter, said Skunk. It's time for you to dig down deep and sleep. The days have been growing shorter, muttered Turtle. It's time to sleep. But first I must tell Woodchuck, another animal that sleeps in the winter. Let's find Woodchuck. Turtle trudged up Woodchuck's hill. Woodchuck, called Turtle, winter is on its way. It's time for you to burrow down deep and sleep. Do you see Woodchuck? I don't see Woodchuck yet. Let's see what happens. Oh, thank goodness, said Woodchuck with a sigh. My skin is so tight I could not eat another bite. I am ready to sleep. But first I must tell Ladybug. Ladybugs sleep in the winter too. Ladybug was perched high on a branch in a maple tree. Do you see Ladybug? See the branch. There's Ladybug. Ladybug, called Woodchuck. Winter is on its way. Ladybugs sleep in the winter. Ladybug flew over Woodchuck's head. The leaves are falling from the trees, said Woodchuck. It is time for you to slip under a log and sleep. So ladybugs sleep under logs in the winter. It is time for you to slip under a log and sleep. All right, said Ladybug, but first I must tell Bear. Bear, that's right. Bear was on the front of our book. Bear is sleeping. Bear was softly snoring in her cave. Can you snore like Bear? Softly snoring. That must mean that Bear is sleeping if Bear is snoring. Bear! Cried Ladybug. Wake up! Wake up! Bear grumbled and rolled over. Oh, the sky is full of geese honking goodbye, cried Ladybug. Look at the geese. So the geese are honking goodbye. That means that the geese are not going to hibernate, but they're going to fly someplace that's a little bit warmer for the winter. The sky is full of geese honking goodbye, cried Ladybug. Winter is on its way, Bear. Bear, where is Bear? Oh, there is Bear. Do you see Bear? Bear's in his cave. Bear's in her cave. Bear opened one eye. Can you open one eye? Then she opened the other. What? Growled Bear. Ooh, Bear sounds a little bit angry. It is time to crawl into your cave and sleep, said Ladybug. Ladybug, grumbled Bear. I am in my cave and I was asleep. Oh dear, said Ladybug. I'm so sorry, Bear. Please go back to sleep. Look at Bear. Bear was sleeping. Ladybug woke up Bear. Bear rolled over and closed her eyes. Ladybug slipped under a log nearby. There it is. There's the log. There's little Ladybug sleeping under that great big log. All the animals are saying goodnight. They're getting ready to sleep and hibernate for the winter. Good night, Bug, said Bear. Good night, Bear, said Ladybug. Good night, Woodchuck. Good night, Turtle. Good night, Skunk. Good night, Snail. Good night, everyone. See you in the spring. The end. So they sleep for a long time. They sleep from winter until spring. Spring isn't until March, so that means that they stay asleep during the cold winter months. So now let's get started with some fun activities about hibernation. Here goes. When wintertime comes, it becomes a lot harder for some of our animal friends to find food. Do you know why that would be? That's right, because it's so cold outside that things freeze. And food is hard to find and hard to eat when it's frozen. Have you ever tried to eat an ice cube? It's really, really hard and it's not very good for our teeth. But it makes it really hard for animals to find food when the ground is really hard and frozen, they can't dig. When berries are frozen on the trees, it's hard for them to eat them. So because there's less food, and we all need food to survive, the animals are forced to hibernate. Now, Miss Debbie wants you to try something. I want you to try to feel your heartbeat. Now, all of these animals have a heart. We have a heart. Heartbeat has a lot to do with hibernation. I want you to take your hand and put it on your chest and try to feel your heart beat. It's hard to do. Keep trying, don't give up. Miss Debbie has felt her heartbeat. It goes dunk dunk, dunk dunk, dunk dunk. Now find your heartbeat. Okay? Once you find it, I want you to pay attention to how slow your heart is beating. Okay, now what I want you to do is run in place really fast. Run, 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 run. Run for about a minute, okay? You can run in circles, run in place, jump up and down if you want. I want you to do some activity. Get that heart beating. Once you're done, I want you to put your hand in the same spot and feel your heartbeat now. Ooh, Miss Debbie's heartbeat is running a little bit faster. I didn't do a lot of vigorous activity, but my heartbeat is different. That means that I had to use a lot more energy to run and to do some physical activity. So I'm making my heart beat faster, and that means I need to use some more fuel to get my heart to beat faster. Fuel means food. Now, if it's hard for us to find food, we really have to conserve our energy. We can't use a lot of it if there's not much food around to survive. So what the animals do is they rest. Now in the wintertime, we rest a lot more too because it's cold outside. We're not getting as much activity outside, so we might rest a little bit more inside. So our animal friends that are hibernating, here's my snake, and here's my turtle. When they're hibernating, they're resting so that they don't use a lot of energy. Now in the summer and in the fall, these animals eat tons of food and they get really super fat. Nom, 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 nom. You see squirrels outside collecting nuts, and there are bears collecting berries, and all different kinds of animals are preparing and eating a lot of food so that they can have extra energy to use while they're sleeping in the winter. Now we're getting ready for our first activity, and we are going to check our pulse. And a pulse is a way to indicate how fast our heart is beating. Let's get ready. This is a model of a human heart. This is about the size of a heart for an adult. Your heart is about the size of your fist. So if you squeeze your hand together tight like this, your heart is about the size of your fist right here. Now with our heartbeat pushes blood from our heart to the entire body through a system of arteries. As the blood pushes through the arteries, it produces a rhythmic throbbing. That's what you feel when you put your hand on your chest. That's the throbbing, okay? So we are going to create a pulsometer, and this is going to be able to show us that our heart is beating. We know that our heart is beating because we are alive and well, but we can actually see the heart throbbing with our pulsometer. So you're going to need a little bit of Play-Doh. If you don't have Play-Doh, you can also use a small mini marshmallow. And what Miss Debbie wants you to do is take your toothpick and stick it into your Play-Doh so it stands up just like that. Now you're also going to need a timer. You can use your microwave, maybe a parent's phone if they're there to help you, or a stopwatch, and we are going to time for 1 minute and see how many times our heart beats by checking our pulse. Sometimes it can be difficult to locate your own pulse, so this is an easy way to see that. Now what Miss Debbie wants you to do is rest your arm facing up on a level surface, such as a counter or a table, okay? And you're going to place the pulsometer on the inside of your wrist, just below your thumb. So here's our thumb, and right about here, okay? So then what we're going to do is take our pulsometer. You're going to put it right there and squish it down a little bit so it balances. Try to keep your hand slowly. Do you see it moving? That's Miss Debbie's pulse. That's showing me that my heart is beating. And I can count how many times that moves as I want. So what you can do is you can count how many times it moves in 1 minute, and that way you can know how many times your heart beats in 1 minute. Have fun with that activity. For second activity, you are going to need an empty paper towel roll. If you don't have an empty paper towel roll, you could try a toilet paper roll too. That might not work as well, but it still might work. And what we're going to do is we're going to create something called a stethoscope. Now when you go to the doctor's for your checkup and the doctor checks your heartbeat, he puts that little cold circle that's hanging around his neck onto your back or onto your chest, and he tells you to breathe. Well, that is how he is checking to make sure that you're breathing okay and he can hear your heartbeat. So what you're going to do is take one end of the tube and put it where your heart is on your chest, and then you're going to have your child place the other end on their ear and ask them what they hear. They may need to move it around a bit to hear the heartbeat, but your child should hear a sound that sounds like lub-dub, lub-dub, lub-dub. And they can hear the sound that your heart is pushing the blood out and filling it back up. I have also included some printables to have a little bit of fun, and this one is called Help Bear Get to His Cave. It's time for Bear to hibernate. We're going to roll a die. If you don't have die, if you have some playing cards, you could flip over playing cards one at a time and count the number and move that many spaces. So what you're going to do is roll your die. Miss Debbie learned it on a 3. You can use anything you have for a piece. Miss Debbie just dropped her bear. Let me get another one here. You can use anything that you have for a playing piece. You can use a coin. You can use pieces of cereals, fruit snacks, anything that you have. And this is where I start. I rolled a 3, so I'm going to move 3 spaces. 1, 2, 3. And that's a lot of fun. You can play it with someone else, or you can play it alone and see how long it takes you to get from start to Bear's Cave so he can hibernate. Miss Debbie has also included a coloring sheet so that you can take a look inside of you, and you can see where your heart is located inside of you and the veins where your blood flows throughout your entire body. I have also included a bunch of cute little hibernating animals. There are 2 pages to this one. You can color your animal and find out that it hibernates. These are some hibernating animals. On the other page, however, these animals migrate. Miss Debbie, we saw the geese in the book, and they were flying someplace warm. Now, these are some animals. Fish can migrate. They can swim someplace warm. Some birds migrate. There's another bird that migrates. And I know that there are also some animals that travel very far to escape the cold weather, and they travel on foot. So that's a fun coloring activity. Miss Debbie also has a fun activity where we can engineer some structures using some blocks. If you have some blocks at home, you can do this activity. If you don't have blocks, you can even use some plastic cups if you have cups at home. And I have included some pictures of different things that you can make for our bears. Miss Debbie has some little bears here, but if you don't have bears, you can use anything that you'd like, little toys that you have, little people, anything that you'd like. So this is the first one I'm just going to show you. This is a house. So we're going to try to make a house, and we need 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks for our house. And Miss Debbie will show you. I started off with 1 here. Now I'm going to use 2 more blocks right here. And for the very tippity top, I'm going to need a triangle to make my house. And in my house, I have 2 bears. So they are going to be hibernating in the house. There are my 2 bears hibernating in my house. Can you see that? Whoopsie, it fell. But you get the idea. I've also included a cave. There is a train and a silly slide. For our last activity, we are going to make Bear Cave. Now to do this, you're going to need a paper bag. If you don't have a paper bag, you can use a paper bowl if you have one, and you can simply cut a little opening here on the front of your bowl, and you can pretend that this is your hibernating cave for your bear. We are also going to need a glue stick or some glue, some scissors to cut a hole in your bowl, or to cut out your paper bag. We're going to make it a little bit shorter than the ordinary size paper bag. We're going to cut it off a little bit. Then Miss Debbie has included some printables, and this is a picture of a bear, and this is a little poem that goes with your bear. If you don't have a printer, you don't need these. You can color your own picture of a bear on the front of your paper bag. So the first thing that Miss Debbie is going to do is take my glue stick, and I am going to do the front part of my bag. Actually, before we do that, you're going to cut off maybe about 2 or 3 inches just to make it a little bit shorter. If you don't have scissors, you can simply fold your bag over when you're done. So on this side here where the flap is, we are going to glue on our little poem. So Miss Debbie has this side here like this. I have my poem here that's included. If you don't have a printer, Miss Debbie's going to read to you and tell you what it says. It says, "Are you sleeping? Are you sleeping? Big black bear, big black bear. Time for hibernation. What is your location? In a log, in a lair." A lair is a cave. That's where bear is sleeping. So Miss Debbie is going to put this right here and glue that down. I didn't put enough glue on that. Let's see a little bit more. Now you can leave it as is, or you can give it a little color like Miss Debbie did here, and you can color your little bear sleeping in the cave. Now it's time to add on our hibernating bear to the front of our cave, and you're just going to put a little bit of glue on the back here. You can even use tape if you don't have glue. And you're going to put the fold right here against the end of the bag. See where it says fold right here? Put that like that. Then you are going to flip your bag over and fold it over just like that. There's your hibernating bear. Miss Debbie's glue stick is not working very well. Let me see if I can switch over to this one. This one looks like it might work a little bit better. Put some glue down here. Stick it down. There we go. That's much better. Now you can color your bear. Color any color you'd like. Miss Debbie has one colored here already, so to save time, I'm just going to show you where to glue it. And then, of course, because it's wintertime, we need snow. So if you have some cotton balls, you can add some cotton balls around your bear cave. You can do the same thing with glue. Add a little bit of glue around the edge. Take a handful of cotton balls. Stick them around just like snow. If you don't have cotton balls, you can cut out some white printer paper and cut it in circles. And you can stick it around your cave and it will look just as nice as the cotton balls. And then once we're done, put it in like this, fold it down. You can fill this with some animals and pretend that they are in the cave. And there is your hibernating bear cave. Like I said, if you don't have a paper bag, you can also use the bowl here. Miss Debbie's gonna put some bears under here and pretend they're hibernating together. And then the same thing, I'm gonna glue some cotton balls around the edge. You can add some paper, maybe color your cave brown, and you can have lots of fun making a bear cave out of a bowl. So enjoy. Miss Debbie and Coco had a lot of fun exploring hibernation with you today. We hope you find many ways to stay warm this winter, and we hope you get a chance to look outside and see if you can see some animals that are getting ready to prepare for a really cold winter. So before we say goodbye, we'd love to sing our goodbye song with you. Here goes. It's time to wave our hands and say goodbye. Goodbye. It's time to wave our hands and say goodbye. Goodbye. We've had lots of fun, my friends, and we'll do it all again. It's time to wave our hands and say goodbye. Goodbye, friends. We'll see you next week and stay happy and healthy. Bye.